Hey everyone, welcome to Game Nations. Today we counting down. These 20 games represent the best of what's coming. An electrifying mix of creativity, nostalgia, and forward-thinking design that will define the next era of Nintendo gaming. From vast open-world adventures and cinematic JRPGs to platformers that stretch imagination and indies bursting with charm. The next wave of titles showcases the diversity that makes Nintendo's ecosystem truly special. Let's jump right in, with no time to waste.
You and I will never be apart.
Where did this letter come from? That would only confirm the other girl's suspicions about...
By Sweet Carole is a deeply emotional and atmospheric adventure game that masterfully combines narrative depth with stunning art direction and a hauntingly beautiful soundtrack. While it's not the kind of game that will appeal to everyone, particularly those seeking fast-paced action or complex combat systems, it's an exceptional choice for fans of story-driven titles, particularly those that prioritize exploration and character development. The pacing of the game is deliberate, allowing players to fully immerse themselves in the world and connect with the characters on a deeper level. By Sweet Carole is about loss, healing, and discovering the strength to move forward in the face of grief. The game's narrative doesn't shy away from complex, heavy themes, but it handles them with care and subtlety. The writing is strong, with every character feeling multi-dimensional and their motivations clearly articulated. Carole, the protagonist, is one of the most relatable and grounded characters in recent memory, and her emotional journey will resonate with players who have experienced their own struggles with personal growth and healing. Persona 3 Reload is an outstanding remaster of a classic RPG that has been enhanced for modern players. It retains all the things that made the original Persona 3 special. The gripping story, the intricate characters, the unique mix of life simulation and dungeon crawling, while improving the gameplay experience in meaningful ways. Its emotional depth, strategic combat, and the ever-present theme of confronting personal fears resonate as much today as they did when the game was first released. While it may not be without its flaws, especially in terms of pacing and difficulty spikes, the overall experience is rich, rewarding, and unforgettable. Persona 3 Reload brings the classic JRPG experience into a more modern light. The core gameplay revolves around managing your time between dungeon crawling and life simulation, balancing relationships with friends, part-time jobs, and developing your persona, a sort of inner power that manifests as a mythical creature. The dungeon crawling itself, set in the mysterious Tartarus Tower, remains largely unchanged, with random battles and turn-based combat. However, the pacing feels faster due to the updated combat mechanics.
So what's Soldier Boy's deal? Is he one of us now?
This is a one-time gig. When it's done, we're done.
Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is another area where the remake truly shines. Although the core narrative remains the same, with Cloud and his allies fighting against the corrupt Shinra Corporation and the existential threat posed by Sephiroth, the narrative has been significantly expanded. The game introduces new characters, deepens the motivations of existing ones, and adds new plot elements that serve as a setup for future entries in the Remake series. Notably, the ending of Remake diverges from the original's events, suggesting that the remake will follow a different path in subsequent installments. For those who've played the original, this is an exciting shift, as it opens the door to new interpretations and storylines that keep even longtime fans on edge. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade builds upon the foundation laid by the original FFVII remake, offering an enhanced experience both in terms of gameplay and technical performance. The core battle system remains largely the same, a mix of real-time combat with strategic elements drawn from the traditional turn-based system.
The world won't end today, but you will. The Kirby Air Riders game is coming soon, and 2 new amiibo are also on the way. Tap them to
Kirby Air Ride is enjoyable, if somewhat overlooked. racing game that holds a special charm for fans of the Kirby franchise. Its accessibility, colorful visuals, and fun mechanics make it a perfect choice for players of all ages, offering a delightful racing experience without the need for technical mastery or complex controls. The game's standout mode, City Trial, provides the perfect blend of exploration and strategy, making each playthrough unique and ensuring high replayability. Originally released for the Nintendo GameCube in 2003, remains a unique entry in the Kirby franchise. Unlike traditional Kirby platformers, Air Ride shifts the series into a more arcade-style racing experience. The game allows players to control Kirby as he rides on a variety of vehicles known as Air Rides, which are essentially hovercrafts that glide through a series of whimsical tracks. Gameplay consists of fast-paced, accessible racing mechanics that are simple to pick up but can be surprisingly deep, especially when considering the different vehicles available. The game's controls are very user-friendly, with most vehicles being controlled simply by pressing the A button to accelerate and steering using the analog stick.
20th, the same day as the game's launch. Be on the lookout for even more Kirby Air Riders amiibo updates in the future. And a second Kirby Air Riders Direct, hosted by the game's director, Mr. Sakurai, is also on the way.
Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave is indeed a new entry in the series for the Switch 2. It would likely retain the tactical, turn-based combat mechanics the franchise is known for, but with further improvements leveraging the Switch 2's hardware. The tactical, grid-based combat would be complemented by smooth animations, strategic depth, and new gameplay systems, perhaps based on the weaving of fate or relationships between characters. We could see enhanced combat mechanics, like more dynamic movement across the map, the ability to combine different unit types in new ways, or even a deeper focus on terrain and environmental effects. As the title suggests, Fortune's Weave could introduce a mechanic where the fate of characters or outcomes of battles is influenced by the randomness or the fortune tied to in-game decisions. This could add an unpredictable element to strategy, where players' choices, perhaps in the form of support conversations, strategic decisions, or even randomized fate events, have lasting consequences on how battles unfold. Building on features from recent Fire Emblem titles like Three Houses, the game could introduce even more robust character interactions, where bonds between units have a more direct impact on combat, such as affecting stats or unlocking new abilities.
There's a man I hate so much that simply killing him will not satisfy me. For that reason, I refuse to die.
I won't let you hurt her! And now warm blood is served in a crude cup.
You think I'd let you deny me my feelings?
I refuse to accept defeat. Not now!
For those who stand upon the final stage, I shall grant whatever wish you may desire. So say I, the divine...
Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment would be an exciting and bold expansion of the Hyrule Warriors franchise, blending the fast-paced, action-packed combat of the Dynasty Warriors series with the rich mythology and narrative depth of the Legend of Zelda universe. While the core gameplay would remain true to what fans of the Hyrule Warriors franchise have come to expect, the introduction of new thematic elements, mechanics, and an expanded story would set this title apart from previous entries, making it a truly unique experience. The story could be a compelling exploration of liberation, resistance, and the consequences of oppression. Players would not only fight to break the chains of imprisonment, but also uncover the hidden secrets of Hyrule's past. Stories of long-forgotten heroes, ancient battles, and mystical powers. This level of world building could be a significant draw for players who enjoy the rich lore of the Legend of Zelda universe. The concept of freeing Hyrule from the grips of dark forces would create a strong emotional core to the story, making each battle feel like part of something greater. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment would stick to the franchise's signature gameplay loop of large-scale hack-and-slash combat, where players mow down waves of enemies in epic, fluid battles. However, the unique Imprisonment theme would introduce new mechanics that shake up the traditional formula. Monster Hunter Stories games blend traditional Monster Hunter action with a more narrative-driven, turn-based combat system. Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection would likely be a bold, emotional, and highly engaging entry into the Monster Hunter Stories series. With its unique theme of twisted monsters and the emotional weight of reflecting on past actions, this game could introduce a more mature and nuanced layer to the already fantastic gameplay and world-building that fans love. The balance between combat, exploration, and relationship building would offer a rich, immersive experience, while the dark, twisted aspects of the story and monsters would provide a refreshing challenge. The mechanics of monster bonding, turn-based combat, and exploration would combine with the new themes to keep the game feeling fresh, while offering players a chance to dive deeper into the lore and emotional core of the Monster Hunter world. If executed well, Twisted Reflection could become one of the most memorable and emotionally resonant entries in the Monster Hunter Stories franchise, leaving players reflecting on their own journey with monsters and the consequences of their actions. Absolum stands as a rare fusion of art, philosophy, and interactive storytelling, a Switch title that transcends genre boundaries. It is less a traditional RPG and more a meditative experience wrapped in action-adventure form. Every mechanic serves the story, and every visual reflects the internal state of its world. Absolum plays as a dark, atmospheric action-adventure RPG blending real-time combat, exploration, and puzzle solving. It's set in a surreal, decaying world that challenges the player's morality, perception, and sense of identity. The core loop revolves around combat, reflection, and restoration, fighting corrupted entities, uncovering lost memories, and rebuilding fragments of a forgotten civilization. Combat is fluid and precise, borrowing influences from Dark Souls and Hollow Knight. Players wield echo weapons, tools that manifest from the protagonist's memories. These weapons shift form. A blade might turn into a whip or a staff mid-combo, depending on the player's energy alignment.
Get ready for a city-wide adventure in the world of Pokémon. Our story is set in the thriving metropolis of Lumio City.
Pokémon Legends ZA represents a defining moment for the Pokémon franchise, a bold step into a modern action RPG framework that respects the series' roots while reinventing its mechanics. It captures the spirit of exploration that made Legends Arceus a success, but places it within a dense, reactive urban setting, something Pokémon has never done before. The result feels fresh, alive, and forward-thinking. Lumio City's layered environments, day-night cycles, and dynamic social systems turn it into more than a backdrop. It becomes the true protagonist alongside your Pokémon. The real-time combat system is exhilarating, blending reflexes and strategy in equal measure. Mega Evolution, once a nostalgia feature, now feels essential, recontextualized as both a gameplay mechanic and a narrative device about control, balance, and transformation. The addition of ranked battles and wish-based progression keeps the loop addictive long after the credits roll. While not flawless, the camera and occasional AI quirks remind you it's still evolving tech. ZA stands as a massive improvement over the performance issues that plagued Scarlet and Violet. It's proof that Game Freak has learned, refined, and finally delivered a Pokémon game that feels next-gen in ambition and execution.
Keep an eye out for wild Pokémon that could overpower your team. If things are looking tough, it might make sense to run. Around town, you can relax with your Pokémon at cafes. Try out the latest fashions, hairstyles, and makeup. And even have an impromptu photo shoot at your favorite spots.
I'm not loving the odds.
No, I've had worse.
Well, in that case.
Well, what are we waiting for?
007. First Light is the Bond game. Fans have been waiting for elegant, cinematic, and deeply immersive. It captures the spirit of espionage that defines the franchise, but grounds it in a personal story of how Bond became the agent we know. Gameplay strikes a masterful balance between tension and spectacle. Every mission feels handcrafted, no filler, no bloat. Whether you're sneaking through a glacier base under Aurora skies or trading bullets in a collapsing Tokyo skyscraper, the pacing is immaculate. What makes First Light special isn't just its action, but its intelligence. The trust system and dialogue-driven infiltration elevate it beyond a simple shooter. You're constantly calculating, do I charm, deceive, or intimidate? Each path has consequences. Visually, it's a triumph for the Switch 2. Cinematic lighting, lifelike characters, and detailed environments that rival full-scale console productions. Paired with its orchestral, electronic soundtrack and sharp writing, the game feels like playing a Bond film, not just watching one. While the stealth camera can occasionally snag in tight corners, and a few quick-time events feel unnecessary, these are minor blemishes on an otherwise dazzling experience. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is a milestone in making a true, modern Indiana Jones game. After many years of movie tie-ins and lesser attempts, this title captures more of the spirit of the films than just fan service. It gives you the sense of being indie, chasing ancient secrets, racing against Nazis, exploring dangerous ruins, solving puzzles that feel like they came from dusty tomes, and using wit, stealth, brains, and brawn. The plot hits just the right notes. It's not an adaptation of any single film, so it has freedom, and it uses the timeline between Raiders and Last Crusade wisely. The mystery of the Great Circle ties together myth, archaeology, and action in a satisfying way. Players can choose stealth or direct combat, take hidden routes, use disguises, or just brute force. The skill/unlock system rewards exploration and curiosity. The relics and collectibles invite you to go off the beaten path. On the scale of what adventure games can achieve, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle leans toward the upper end. If you value story, mood, exploration, and feeling like you're living out an indie film rather than just punching Nazis and grabbing relics, this game delivers.
Here we go.
What are you doing, Joe? Are you crazy?
I don't suppose you know how to fly this thing, do you?
Excuse me?
Nothing.
The latest entry in the
Mario Tennis Fever captures the joyful chaos that makes Mario sports games special, while finally adding the depth the series has sometimes lacked. It's fun, fast, and endlessly replayable. A confident showcase of how Nintendo can evolve a classic formula without losing its soul. The Fever system brings excitement and unpredictability to every rally, making each match feel like a mini spectacle. The Adventure Mode's baby transformation storyline is absurd in the best way possible, providing a charming break between competitive play. Technically polished, visually stunning, and orally vibrant, it represents a clear generational leap for the series. Mario Tennis Fever builds upon the foundation of Mario Tennis Aces, but injects a whole new layer of energy and creativity. The core mechanics still revolve around fast-paced rallies, skill-based shots, and precise timing, but the new Fever system elevates the excitement. As players rally and build momentum, their fever gauge fills, allowing them to unleash over-the-top fever shots. These are character-specific, visually spectacular super moves that can change the tide of a match, from Bowser's explosive flame serves to Peach's elegant heart rally that redirects incoming shots with precision.
Aim for the top by completing different objectives in the Trial Towers mode. Play matches with unexpected rules in Mix It Up mode. even some where you'll experience wonder effects. In the online modes, choose between casual play with customizable rules in Online Room, or go for glory in ranked matches. You can even gently swing your Joy-Con 2 controller like a racket.
Becastled is one of those games that sneaks up on you, simple on the surface, but deeply engaging once you start optimizing your kingdom. It captures the timeless appeal of base building and defense management, while wrapping it in a bright, welcoming art style. Becastled is a medieval strategy and base building game that combines light city management with tower defense combat. Players construct, expand, and defend their growing kingdom against waves of shadowy enemies that attack from all directions. The loop is simple yet satisfying. Gather resources during the day, fortify your castle, and survive assaults at night. The game features intuitive mechanics. Workers collect wood, stone, and food, while soldiers guard your settlement. Each new structure, from windmills to barracks, unlocks more capabilities. The balance between economic growth and defense preparation is the heart of the gameplay. If you expand too greedily, your defenses suffer. If you turtle too hard, your progress stalls. We Were Here Together is a masterclass in cooperative puzzle design, an experience that turns simple communication into a powerful emotional mechanic. Few games make you feel your connection to another player as strongly as this one does. Every solved riddle and every shared moment of confusion becomes part of a story you build together, one line of static-filled dialogue at a time. We Were Here Together continues the cooperative puzzle-solving tradition of the We Were Here series, placing two players in a first-person adventure where communication is everything. You and your partner are stranded in a frozen, mysterious landscape after receiving a distress call from an expedition team, and the only way to survive is by talking your way through a series of logic-based puzzles. The magic of the gameplay lies in asymmetrical cooperation. Each player sees and interacts with different parts of the world.
Welcome to Veil of the Witch, a turn-based tactical RPG with a roguelite twist. You play as Ash, a shipwrecked castaway with no memories and a big-ass sword.
Lost Eidolons. Veil of the Witch isn't just a sequel, it's a reinvention. By merging the tactical precision of Fire Emblem with the replay-driven tension of Hades, it delivers a rare kind of strategy RPG that feels both cerebral and emotional. Every battle is a story of survival, every run a reflection of growth, not just in stats, but in understanding. The roguelite format breathes new life into the genre, making failure feel meaningful and victory genuinely earned. Lucia's journey from despair to defiance becomes more than a plotline. It mirrors your own persistence as a player. Lost Eidolons, Veil of the Witch, is a bold evolution of the tactical RPG formula established in the original Lost Eidolons, blending deep turn-based combat with roguelite structure and emotional storytelling. Set in a darker, more chaotic era of the same universe, this entry pushes players into fast-paced, unpredictable battles, where every choice carries lasting consequences. The game maintains its grid-based tactical foundation, but introduces a tighter focus on progression and experimentation. You command a small party of mercenaries through procedurally generated battlefields, each offering new modifiers, environmental hazards, and enemy types. Positioning and class synergy are everything. Flanking maneuvers, elemental combos, and terrain advantages can turn the tide of battle.
It's me, Rafa.
Borderlands 4 stands as a strong entry in the Borderlands franchise, one that succeeds in modernizing many aspects while preserving the chaotic loot-and-shoot core that fans love. The shift to the planet Kairos, the more fluid movement and traversal, and the upgraded loot/customization systems all feel satisfying and well-considered. The new Vault Hunters bring enough variation that playing through with multiple characters should feel different, and not just a reskin. Borderlands 4 continues the looter-shooter tradition, but introduces several refinements and expansions to make the gameplay more dynamic and player-friendly. It's set on the new planet Kairos, which is designed with seamless zones that allow exploration without loading screens between many connected regions.
Accept fate!
You have selected Die in a Screaming Inferno.
He'll try to stop us, and if he does, the resort deal will end up back at square one. Now, if we snuff out Kiryu, that'll also settle the eviction matter.
Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties looks like a strong reimagining of one of the more emotionally resonant entries in the Yakuza saga. The original Yakuza 3 had moments of brilliance, particularly in how it balanced Kiryu's hardened fighter side with his softer side as caretaker of an orphanage, but it also carried flaws: dated combat, technical limitations, occasionally slow pacing, and underuse of supporting characters. This remake appears to take those strengths seriously and to improve on the weaknesses. The addition of a second combat style, Ryukyu, promises fresh variety. The visual overhaul done via the Dragon engine should make both Kamurocho and Okinawa feel more alive and immersive than before. Side content expansions and narrative additions suggest that the game is not just a graphical facelift, but a full modernization. Dark Ties adds something compelling. Playing Mine gives context to one of the more morally ambiguous figures in Yakuza 3. It lets players see what drives someone who becomes an antagonist, to see the human, perhaps broken side. Mechanically, his combat style, boxing, Dark Awakening, etc., seems to be set up to feel distinct from Kiryu's, which is important for preventing the spin-off from feeling like just more of the same. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is a triumphant revival of the Budokai Tenkaichi style. For many Dragon Ball fans, this game was long overdue. The series returned to massive 3D arena brawlers, with destructible stages, huge rosters, transformations, and frantic, over-the-top combat. The sheer scale is impressive. Over 180 characters at launch, pushing past 200 with DLC, many forms, many transformations. That's feast for the eyes, pop-up menus, sprite sheets, and nostalgia all rolled in. The signature visuals, destructive environments, flashy beam clashes, dynamic camera work make you feel like you're in the anime. The new combat mechanics, skill count, revenge counter, vanishing assaults, give extra layers of depth so you're not just mashing, but thinking about movement, timing, dashes, counters. Where the game shines most is when you get into the matchups that let those systems breathe. A well-matched fight in a destructible arena with teammates backing you up. Marvel Cosmic Invasion is shaping up to be a standout beat-em-up for Marvel fans and arcade lovers alike. It balances nostalgia with modern touches, giving you so many reasons to fight, switch, and experiment with combos. The roster is strong, spanning Earth-based and cosmic heroes. Stages are varied and visually appealing. The cosmic swap system adds meaningful tactical depth without overcomplicating things. The game excels when you play with friends, whether locally or online. The co-op feel, tag team combos, and switching dynamics make combat fun and emergent. It doesn't look like it'll reinvent the genre, but it does polish and celebrate it. For many players, that's more than enough. Marvel Cosmic Invasion is a side-scrolling beat-em-up where you pick two Marvel heroes from a roster of 1-5 and switch between them mid-fight using the Cosmic Swap tag team mechanic. You'll fight waves of enemies across diverse locales, from New York City to the Negative Zone, with standard melee / light and heavy attacks, dodges or blocks, and special moves that consume a focus meter, earned by hitting enemies. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond looks like a triumphant return for Retro Studios to one of Nintendo's most cherished franchises. After a long and somewhat troubled development period, initial announcement in 2017, a reboot in 2019 under Retro, the game finally feels like it's shaping up to not only honor the legacy of the Prime series, but also to push it forward. What excites most is how the new mechanics, psychic powers, the Viola bike, seem deeply integrated with exploration, puzzle solving, and combat, not just gimmicks. Guiding beams mid-flight, moving environment pieces telekinetically, using a bike in open terrain, these additions could open up more dynamic, flowing gameplay where traversal feels fun and meaningful. That's essential for a Metroid game. Fioros looks varied, jungles, deserts, ruins, promising environmental diversity. The inclusion of a rival like Psylux adds tension and narrative weight, opponents who feel like more than obstacles. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond returns to the classic first-person action-adventure Metroid Prime style, with exploration, scanning, combat, puzzle solving, and upgrades.